Hello, my name is Toby. I'm a language teacher at Quantum Education in Auckland, New Zealand, and this is another presentation in the IELTS project. We recently received an email about looking at ways to organize writing for the IELTS test, writing part 2, kind of a step-by-step approach. And so I thought it would be quite useful if I went through an example question and how I would encourage my students to answer that. Now, up here, we've got an example question that was taken from a recent exam, actually. Nuclear power is the answer to the world's energy crisis. A tricky question if your students have no background knowledge of this topic. But that's often the case. Yeah, we need to kind of have these discussions in class where we talk about topical issues, things that are in the news, to get students' brains clicking over. Anyway, so the first thing you've got to do, you have to write a plan. You really should. This will help you organize your writing better and will save time scrabbling for ideas as the clock ticks on. So for my answer, I would agree. It's a to what extent do you agree question, and I agree. I fully agree with this. So I'm imagining writing an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Okay, so I'll brainstorm some ideas here for my 2 body paragraphs here. So these will be my 2 body paragraphs. Just to talk you through them. Fossil fuels, i.e. coal and gas, our supplies are running out. Yeah, these are our natural resources that are running out. Obviously I need to show here some good vocabulary on this topic. As the population in the world increases, so does the energy demands, and the energy demands are growing. Other alternative energy supplies, for example, wind power, solar power, water power, etc., are insufficient to meet these energy needs of the growing population. And nuclear power can meet these energy needs. The other main reason why I agree is that for environmental reasons, it would slow down global warming. Nuclear power does not produce carbon dioxide, whereas fossil fuels like coal and gas do. They produce carbon dioxide, which traps the sun's energy, which warms up the Earth like a microwave. So I'd have 2 paragraphs with these ideas in, and hopefully you can see how they're kind of thematically organized. Then I'd have a conclusion, and in my conclusion I would concede that there is some risk in nuclear power, but it is minimal, provided there are regulations and controls put in place. I think we have learned lessons from the accidents in Chernobyl and Fukushima, but I do believe that nuclear power is the answer to the energy crisis. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write my answer to this essay question, and as I do so I'm going to tell you the reasons behind my choices in my essay, why I'm choosing this language, and why I'm choosing this step or this strategy in my essay. So we're going to begin with an introduction, of course. Essays have to begin with the introduction, and I think the best way to begin an introduction is to start with a strong statement, which could be a piece of news, a fact, a quote, something that the student knows. I tell my students to avoid cliches, avoid writing things that they think other students might write, just so their essay stands out from the crowd. So I'm going to begin my essay with a bit of personal information. Okay. In my lifetime there have been 2 horrendous nuclear accidents, Chernobyl and Fukushima. I think this shows the reader that I'm up to date with the news. I know what's happening in the world. Okay, it also shows them that I can use the present perfect tense. I've got an idea of some good adjectives: horrendous nuclear accidents, and subject and vocabulary related to the topic. Okay, so here I'm expand my idea a little bit. I've chosen to talk about these two things because one of the focuses of my essay, as you saw in my plan, was to talk about the environment. So I wanted to bring that in quite early on. What I'm trying to do here is paraphrase the question. Okay, it's very important that you do that. It would be very easy for me to write here, instead of this long sentence, solve the problem of supplying energy to the ever expanding world population. I could have just said answer to world energy crisis. But that's lazy, and that will be noticed by the examiner. So it's very important to paraphrase the question, and a good place to do it is probably the second sentence of your introduction, to be honest. Okay, one introduction finished. Okay, so what I've tried to do here in this introduction is make it clear from my second sentence what my opinion is on this topic. Okay, so it's clear from reading this second sentence that I agree with the essay. Okay, for a good answer, your opinion has to be seen throughout the essay, from the beginning to the end. You can consider the other side of the essay. In fact, that's a good idea, which I'm trying to do with my first sentence. But you have to make your opinion clear throughout. My final sentence here is what's called the thesis statement. Okay, so this has told the reader what I'm going to be writing about. Okay, so I'm going to be writing about energy production in my first body paragraph and the impact on the environment in my second body paragraph. This is a signpost. This makes it clear to the reader what I'm going to be writing about. Okay, so now I need to begin my first body paragraph. As you can see here, I have my ideas from my introduction, my brainstorming, and so I'm going to begin my body paragraph. Okay, I need to begin it with a topic sentence, okay, that tells the reader what my paragraph is going to be about. Okay, so my paragraph is going to be about natural resources and the future lack of them. Okay, so I'm going to support that main idea. Okay, so what I've done here is I've expanded my idea. So they, got a pronoun, the fossil fuels are currently in short supply. I'm kind of paraphrasing the topic sentence, and costs are increasing. So I'm thinking here about petrol. Other energy resources such as wind power, solar power and hydroelectricity are usually uneconomical and cannot meet energy demands. Using words like usually, I think give an answer an intelligent feel to them, rather than saying they are uneconomical. Are they always uneconomical? I don't think so. Sometimes they can be a good choice, but I think they're usually economical, or generally. I think these kind of phrases, we call them hedging phrases, are very useful in our writing. Now bring it back to nuclear power. Excuse me. There we go. Body paragraph 1 finished. So what I've tried to do here is make my opinion clear throughout this body paragraph. I've given a topic sentence that clearly shows them what it's about. I've used quite a range of vocabulary here, talking about other energy sources. So I've got my topic sentence, which is a little bit general. A little bit more, I've supported this idea, and in my last sentence here, I brought it back to the topic of nuclear power and how it's better than the other options that I've already mentioned within this paragraph. In fact, to make this paragraph a little bit better, I'm just going to notice here that I've talked about how hydroelectricity is uneconomical, but I think it's true that it's why the initial nuclear power carries huge amounts of energy. I think here I've just connected the idea of money in spite of the initial cost. This refers back to the other idea. This is a connecting word. You should try and include these kind of words in your writing, not too many of them. I've got despite over here, in spite of here. In the long run, sorry, should be a comma here, nuclear power is a wise economical choice. I also think it's good to finish your paragraphs with a stronger statement as well. In the same way, beginning it with a strong one and finishing is also good. That summarizes some of your ideas within that paragraph. Now the ideas for the following paragraph come mainly from watching a Bill Gates talk on TED Talks, TED.com. Very interesting. He pointed out the fact that nuclear power is the only way, the only option for us in order to slow down or stop global warming. Because the way we're going now, burning fossil fuels, it's just impossible to stop. So I'm going to begin this paragraph with a strong sentence that echoes that idea. There we go. So, topic sentence. Scientists have revealed that the only way to stop global warming is to switch from burning fossil fuels to using nuclear power. I think this tells the reader what my paragraph is going to be about. It's going to be about the environment, it's going to be about global warming, and it's going to be pro-nuclear power. Now you could write carbon dioxide or you could write CO2, it doesn't really make any difference. So this is covering the main ideas that I've already mentioned in my notes here for my introduction. Unlike fossil fuels, nuclear power does not produce carbon dioxide, which traps the sun's ultraviolet rays and causes global warming, which can have awful effects on the environment. I'm going to continue this idea a little bit further, a little bit more detail. Okay, this is obviously a topic I've got more ideas on, which is fine. Your paragraphs don't have to be exactly the same length. Okay, so again, I'll try to finish my paragraph with a stronger sentence, summarizing the ideas. I think you can find, okay, I'm a native speaker, but I'm trying to use vocabulary that's connected to the topic. Impact, power, regulation, regulated here. We've talked about global warming, so local language that shows I understand it, ultraviolet rays, causing warming. We've got words that deal with cause and consequence, will result in. We've got relative clause, which will. Okay, we've got a first conditional sentence if if properly regulated. So if nuclear power is properly regulated, so it's present simple passive. Will be, excuse me. Okay, which is a good thing to include. This brings us to the final point, the conclusion. Okay, so the point of the conclusion is to summarize the main ideas we've said. Just summarize them, and also to leave the reader thinking that, okay, this guy understood this topic and he understands the importance of the topic. So it needs to, again, needs to finish strongly. So I'm going to try to write my conclusion, including the ideas I brainstormed earlier. It's always good to finish with the good old in conclusion, just to make it clear that's what you're writing. So in conclusion. Choice. Yeah, if properly regulated. So if nuclear power is properly regulated, so it's present simple passive. Will be, excuse me. Okay, which is a good thing to include. This brings us to the final point, the conclusion. Okay, so the point of the conclusion is to summarize the main ideas we've said. Just summarize them, and also to leave the reader thinking that, okay, this guy understood this topic and he understands the importance of the topic. So it needs to, again, needs to finish strongly. So I'm going to try to write my conclusion, including the ideas I brainstormed earlier. It's always good to finish with the good old in conclusion, just to make it clear that's what you're writing. So in conclusion. Choice. Okay. My other major point, furthermore, yeah, so punctuation is obviously important. Mitigate, yeah, that's a good word. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is again end with a final sentence that some people call the so what sentence. Well, what is important about this topic? Why is this topic important? Why is my opinion important? Why is it relevant? Why should you listen to what I'm saying? So I think that's where the final sentence comes in. Just to show that you understand the topic, and it's a good place to just add your final view. Again, your conclusion should echo your introduction in some ways. So I've actually written 302 words here today, which is 52 words over the required amount. You are not penalised for writing too many words. You're penalised for writing too few words. Some good writers can possibly write 3 body paragraphs, which is great if you can do this. So just read through my essay. I think it's a good answer. I personally think it's quite a good answer. I think if I was a candidate, I would be lucky. I think there is an element of luck if you get a topic you know about. It's great to keep up to date with the news, because this can give you ideas about what's happening and examples to refer to, which of course you can do, as I've mentioned before. So to finish this presentation, I'd just like to review the steps that I go through when I write an essay. So introduction, you need to begin with a strong introduction with a fact, example or quote. Paraphrase the title, don't copy it. It shows it's the easiest way to direct the reader to the topic of your essay, to make it clear what your essay is about. Your last sentence of your introduction should indicate what you will be covering in your essay. This is your thesis statement. It could be your opinion, like in the example above. It could be about the advantages and disadvantages of a topic, solutions to problems, etc. Okay, but this pattern will see you through. Body paragraphs need to begin with a topic sentence. Very important. Each paragraph should have one topic, which is why my essay had 2 paragraphs, 2 body paragraphs, 2 different topics. Each topic sentence needs to be supported with approximately 2 or 3 ideas, possibly with examples, but not too long, that support the topic of the sentence. They must keep to the topic and be relevant to the title. It's a good idea sometimes to take the reader back to the title. Paraphrasing again, why nuclear power is the answer, you know? And it's quite good, I think, also to have a strong finish to the paragraph. Again, a sentence that summarizes the ideas of that paragraph, or that takes you to the ideas of the next paragraph. Your conclusion needs to begin with a summary of the main ideas that you mentioned in your body your body paragraphs. Don't add anything new to the conclusion. There should be no new ideas, and you should finish with the so what sentence. Yeah, a strong sentence to close that shows the reader that you know what you're talking about. You understand why this is an important topic. Well, that's it for today. I hope that was useful for you. I genuinely think this is a good way to organize essays, and when it comes to coherence and cohesion and your answer to the topic, I think follow this kind of pattern should do your students well. Obviously, it's important that you edit your work as well. One final note. As you can see here, we've got a little nice green underline here because it's this question doesn't make sense. The statement doesn't make sense. So we've got to just going to edit this slightly. Should a bit softer. There we go. For the reason that it is far superior to fossil fuels in terms of energy production and impact on the environment, nuclear power should be adopted as the main energy provider in the future. Yeah, happy with that.